Let's break down why Christian Braun had such a big impact in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. If you listen to my podcast, the Hoop Genius podcast, with three-time NBA champion BJ Armstrong, you will know the importance of unexpected contributions from your role players if you want to win a championship. Now, here's the thing. It wasn't really unexpected. The writing was on the wall from Game 2. We'll get into that later, but first, let's get into the footage. Okay, so we're going to start off by taking a look at his rebounding, because his rebounding is a hustle play. Rebounding is about who wants the ball more. If you want to know more about rebounding, I've got a video about how Dennis Rodman was the king of this. But anyway, let's take a look at what he did, especially the offensive rebounding. Because if we look at here, what we've got going on is the Miami Heat defenders have thrown two men at the ball. So two guys are going to the ball. Jimmy Butler is covering the man in the dunker spot to avoid that pass being thrown down low, meaning Christian Braun is wide open on his own. But he doesn't just stay there. A lot of players would just stay still, call for the ball, and then run back on defense. Instead, when the shot goes up, you can see he's already in motion. The ball hasn't even got near the rim yet. The ball is in the air up here. The footage is a little bit blurry, and he's already headed into the painted area because he sees this gap where there's no Miami Heat defenders. So if the ball rebounds out here, he's going to be in position to grab it. And that's exactly what happens. First of all, you can see that he's got a great box out here on Max Strus. He grabs the ball, and that can become another opportunity for his team. Same way we're going to see here. He gets an open look in the corner, right? He hits the side of the backboard, which for a lot of players, they'd put their head down and they'd go back on defense. But not for Christian Braun. He stays with the play, grabs the offensive board, and creates another opportunity for Denver. But the rebounding is great, but the biggest thing, I think, is his defense, because he is showing that he can guard guys on the perimeter and stay with them. Bear in mind, he's only a rookie. Let's look at what he does against Caleb Martin here. He's in a good defensive stance. He's moving his feet. He doesn't reach. This is the key. A lot of players, when this crossover happens and the ball is going from left to right, they would reach their hand in here to try and steal it. And that would give Caleb Martin the chance to blow by them. Instead, he stays disciplined, beats Caleb Martin to his spot because he's trying to get to this corner elbow here. He beats him to the spot, stays low, stays with him. Now he gets the shot contest up. Look, he's right there, hand up, blocking Caleb Martin's view of the basket, contests the shot and forces the miss. But this is what I really want to get into, okay? This is what I really want to get into on his defense. You got a Miami possession to start the fourth quarter. And we remember in Game 2, Duncan Robinson won them the game in the fourth quarter because he started out red hot. To start the fourth quarter, you've now got Christian Braun guarding Duncan Robinson in the corner. And we know the actions that the Heat ran. If you watch that breakdown, there's going to be a lot of screens coming to Duncan Robinson in the corner for him to curl off. And we know he'd get this handoff from Bam Adebayo, or he would curl into the paint. But this time, look at Christian Braun, how he stays connected to him. He's right there with him, denying the catch. He stays connected to him, and that option of Bam passing to Duncan Robinson that was there in Game 2 is no longer there. So Bam has to put the ball on the floor, and now look, Christian Braun has got his feet planted. Even though his heel's on the line, it would count as a foul, but he's got his body set up to take a charge on Bam Adebayo. So Bam slides that. He does a great job of staying with him. Then he recovers, but he knows that his teammate has already slid down to cover the corner. So he's got to X out. We call this an X out because one man is basically an X going that way. He's got to go up that way. Usually it's an X out to the corner. But anyway, he then gets up to Kyle Lowry and he gets him to move the ball off. In Game 2, this is how the play would have gone. In Game 2, you would have had Duncan Robinson coming off a screen, either for an open three. He would have come off this screen and curled for a layup. Instead, he doesn't allow that. And then in Game 2, this would have been an open three-pointer because no one would have been coming out to contest. Instead, he makes the hustle play and forces the Heat to move the ball. Let's have a look here. He's now got Jimmy Butler. He's denying the catch. He's in front of him here. But as Jimmy Butler gets better position, he decides to guard him basket side of the ball. Now look at this. He's not reaching again. He's using his chest. He's using his chest to try and draw an offensive foul because Jimmy extends his arm. That's an offensive foul. He's using his chest to stay with him, hands up, staying patient, not biting on the fakes because Jimmy Butler's great with the pump fakes. He passes the ball to Bam Adebayo who misses, and then Braun grabs the rebound. Another possession saved by Christian Braun. Here we go again. Look, he's basically hugging Duncan Robinson here to stay with him. Comes off the screen, stays with him, gets to the corner, make sure that, because right here, this is a great pump fake from Duncan Robinson. This looks very much like he's going to get a shot off. He denies the shot attempt, and usually once you've jumped on someone's pump fake, they can run off and you're not going to be able to stay with them. He has the quickness to go back, stay with Duncan Robinson, fight over the screen, once again force him to give up the ball. That leads to the Kyle Lowry miss. He did a great job defensively. Okay, this last play here is the best one. Okay, defensively here, right? He is watching the ball. You can see Christian Braun's eyes are on the ball, but he is well aware of Duncan Robinson on the weak side. And you're going to see him turn his head just very slightly. I don't know if you guys can see that. He's just turning his head, giving it a quick glance to make sure he knows where Robinson is. And he knows this action. We've been through this in a video the other day. It's going to be a screen for Duncan Robinson to maybe come and get a handoff. Maybe he's going to come off and curl. But this is Jimmy Butler, not Bam Adebayo. So it's not really going to be a handoff. You don't see a lot of that. It may be a curl, but more than likely is a pass. So he sees Jimmy Butler here pick up his dribble. He's not even got two hands on it, but he knows that Jimmy Butler's picking up his dribble. And the only option for him to pass to is going to be Duncan Robinson. So he's read that, and he's going to come through and steal the ball. Look at his eyes, paying attention to Jimmy Butler. He does exactly that. Look, in the passing lane, gets out, and it's a transition dunk. Now, speaking of dunks, he did a great job on the offensive side of the basketball in this game. We're going to see him right here. The Miami Heat are in their zone. They're in their 1-3-1 zone, and that's caused real problems for Denver. Okay, what defeats the zone? Penetration is part of one of the things that beats the zone. He knows right here, Duncan Robinson's head is turned. Jimmy Butler's looking at the ball. These two men here are occupied with the on-ball action. And Bam Adebayo, once again, is over there. So all he's going to do, very simply, is cut along the baseline. Most players would probably wait here for a three-point shot. Instead, he knows that he's going to cut and be aggressive, because once Jokic gets the ball, that draws Bam to him. And this means Duncan Robinson's got to try and guard Jeff Green, who's got a size mismatch, meaning that this baseline dunker spot area is open. He's going to cut straight to the hoop for the easy finish. He's got a great knack of reading where the defense is looking and cutting off the ball. Here we're going to see them flow into a pick and roll, and he's just going to attack downhill. Because the defense is so worried about this pass coming to Jokic because he's so dangerous from anywhere on the court, Jimmy Butler is stunting a little bit, but he really wants to get to Nikola Jokic to deny that, and that's going to lead to an easy 2 points at the basket. Over here, we've got Brown stationed up in the corner. Aaron Gordon's got a mismatch. In game one, this would have been an easy bucket for Aaron Gordon. But let's see what goes on over here. He draws two defenders, so he does a good job now of giving the ball up. Now, the obvious pass, if we stop this tape right here, is to hit KCP on the wing. Okay, he's wide open. Aaron Gordon can easily make that pass. That's the obvious pass, right? And Jimmy Butler knows this. So he's going to try and get into the passing lane to get the steal. As Aaron Gordon jumps, this is the best thing about having hang time like Aaron Gordon. He's in the air. Christian Braun sees Jimmy Butler's body is going that way, and he's going to once again cut under the basket. And that's exactly what happens. And beautiful pump fake. Look, he got three defenders to bite on that pump fake, and he easily gets another look on the inside. Let's have a look at this possession. Once again, Jokic, being the MVP, the real MVP, two-time MVP, whatever you want to call him, has now got 1, 2, 3 defenders looking at him. Even Kyle Lowry is paying attention. You've got Jeff Green down here, but you've also got Christian Braun, who can once again make a cut to the hoop. And he does exactly that. It's very simple basketball. When you are an off-ball player, even at whatever level of basketball you play, when your defender turns their head and isn't paying attention to you, if you cut back door, more than likely you're going to be open every time. Even if you cut straight down the lane like Christian Braun just did. That's a great tip for you guys there. It's very simple basketball 101. We're going to see a little action here. He's going to come and screen for Nikola Jokic. As Jokic then flows into a ball screen himself, he's going to space to the corner. And once again, they're throwing two at Jamal Murray in this game, okay? They're throwing two bodies at Jamal Murray because they want to disrupt the two-man action of him and Jokic. Jimmy Butler now has to pick up the Joker because he knows he's a threat. And then would you look at all of that space? Once again, by the way, this pass from Jamal Murray, two defenders on you. Look at the narrow gap he's got to pass the ball through to hit Christian Braun on this, okay? Hits Christian Braun, and it's another finish at the hoop. He did a fantastic job just making the right simple reads and the simple plays. Here we go in transition. He attacks the hoop. Jimmy Butler does a good job, but he's strong enough to be able to finish over the contact. So that's just some examples of how great Christian Braun was doing the little things. We're talking about rebounding, we're talking about defense, and we're talking about cutting without the basketball. Very simple. Any role player in the league should be doing this, but he's been fantastic throughout this series. Now, I don't want to be the guy who says I told you so, but if you read my newsletter, which is linked in the description, I told you so. After game 2, I said if Michael Porter Jr. isn't hitting shots, there is no point having him on the floor if he's a defensive liability as well, despite being solid in game 1. You need to replace him with Christian Braun. And maybe Mike Malone read the newsletter, maybe he didn't, maybe we see the same things, who knows. But in the fourth quarter, they rolled with Christian Braun. But I wanted to show you what I saw in game 2, which is the video I actually wanted to make, but the Nuggets ended up losing the game, so I didn't put it out. But here's a few clips from there that I wanted you to pay attention to. So here we have the game 2 footage between the Nuggets and the Miami Heat, which seems like ages ago, even though it was just yesterday. Here we have Nikola Jokic missing on the inside, and Christian Braun just offensive rebounding, creating another possession for his team. How's he doing that? The defender's head is turned, and he's going to simply cut to the hoop, get in front of his defender so he can grab the loose ball and create another opportunity for his squad. That results in him being wide open on a three-point line, and he's going to hit a beautiful little head fake, enough for Kyle Lowry to bite. He's going to blow by him and get the layup to go. This is one thing about Christian Braun that I love, is the quickness of his decision making. That's a real key here, because right now, okay, this play is a bit of whatever. That's like, I'm not expecting him to hit fadeaway jump shots over Bam Adebayo after picking up a loose ball on a regular basis. But the fact that he did that was amazing. But I want to talk about the quickness of his decision making, which we'll see after this. He once again reads the pass off the inbounds to get the steal away from Duncan Robinson. Nuggets go the other way. But let's look at the quickness of his decision making. Here, he receives the pass and straight away he puts the ball on the floor. You see that? He sees that there's a little gap because the Miami Heat have got this man here committed, but he's going to try and pinch in. Caleb Martin's going to try and pinch in, so he sees the gap. He immediately puts the ball on the floor, gives it up for the assist to his teammates. Once again, he's wide open here. As soon as he catches it, he puts the ball on the floor. Most players, they'd see this as a catch and shoot opportunity. Instead, he sees this one, puts the ball on the floor, a left to right crossover against Kyle Lowry. That makes Bam Adebayo have to pay attention, because if Kyle Lowry gets beat, it's the easy layup. So Bam Adebayo can't help out to the corner. He's got to stay committed, and that becomes another assist for Christian Braun. We're going to see defensively again. He does a great job getting the steal. The Nuggets get out, run in transition. And even though the Joker makes this shot, look at where Braun's positioning is. He's there ready for the offensive rebound. So credit to this young man. I think out of every non-lottery pick in NBA Finals history as a rookie, he's getting the most points so far this series. So listen, we're going to see what the Miami Heat do in game 4, because now he's fully on their radar. Maybe they were sleeping on game 2 and they didn't realize the impact he'd make. Maybe they thought they wouldn't replace Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes with some of Chris Braun minutes. But guess what? I just realized he's called Chris Braun. I wonder if he can sing. But anyway, that's a terrible joke. Listen, I don't know if the Miami Heat are going to pay more attention to him in game number 4. The reason being, you've already got to pay a lot of attention to Jamal Murray. They're throwing 2 bodies at him at times. You've got to throw a lot of attention at Nikola Jokic, who had 30, 20, and 10 in game 3. There's only so much attention there is to give out. So we're going to see the adjustments the Miami Heat make, but I'm going to be here breaking it down for you. So please do subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more breakdowns. There's going to be another breakdown before the next game as well, if I got time to make that one. If you want it, make sure you show some love in the comments and let me know, and I'll make that for you ASAP. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel, check out the Hoop Genius podcast, subscribe to my newsletter, and most importantly, get buckets.